Hi, so this time we're going to look at debugging with MPLAB Xpress. This is another video that I've just been asked to create. Okay, so what have I got here? I've got, locally I've got this board. It's the same board each time. You may have figured that one out. This is a chip. I have a ADC. And I'm going to sort of run some code through this, and then we're going to load it up onto the web and then debug it on the web. Okay, now let me think the best way to do this. Right, okay, so I'm going to bring up this code. I'm going to delete the whole lot, okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a small piece of code, then we're going to put it up on the web just to see how it works. Okay, all right, so I've got this chip loaded here. I'm just going to show to you that it's live. It's a real chip that's sitting there. We're just going to read the ADC, then we're going to look at the ADC value up on the web. Chris Roper has just posted something to the Great Cow BASIC forum that shows you how to do LEDs as well. Okay, so this is live locally and it sort of works. Okay, so we're going to create a program, keep it pretty simple and fast for you. We're going to do option explicit, and then we're just going to do, we're going to create a variable, okay, called debug underscore variable. That's a byte. Take a copy of that, and then do a do loop. And then what we're going to do, we're going to read the AD, okay, happens to be A0, okay, and then we're going to read that up on the web, on the debugger, okay, as it assigns this through into here, and we're going to see that all work, okay. Because we're going to see it in the debugger online, we haven't got a serial output or anything like that, we're just going to see it online, okay. So let me just compile the ASM up. Okay, so it's created a set of ASM. I can view that by pressing my Shift F7, and what's key about it is that you do a couple of things. Right now, I have changed the compiler locally. You must do this. Operation 1, you must add error level -302. Now you don't have to do that in every case, but it's really good because what it will do when we're on the web in a moment, it will take out a lot of the warnings. So I'm just taking the warnings out, and it makes it a little bit smoother for you. Secondly, I need you to take the ASM, do an edit, and then change the case into uppercase. All right, and we're going to use that later on. Okay, all right. Now, so that's all the stuff done. Trust me, that will work locally. And what we've got is some code that's pretty complex. So I'm actually going to make it. I'm going to make it easier. I'm sorry. All right. Port C.0 equals not port C.0. Let's just make it easy. All right. Why make this complicated? Okay. Guess we forgot to set the direction of that port. Okay, up on the web it's going to get complicated as it is. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to set that as an output, get rid of that, don't need that anymore, and then we're just going to generate the ASM. Okay, now let's check our ASM. Let's go to the top. It's a lot smaller. I've got this error level -302, Control C. I can't change the case in here. I have to go edit case. Now it's important because in a minute we can't change the case up on the web. Okay, Control C. Okay, so I'm going to open up a browser, and we're going to do this live. Okay, so let's just take the risks. Okay, all right, into Google. We're going to type in MPLAB Xpress. Here you go, and there it is. IDE MPLAB Xpress. Okay, now I do log into this one quite often. Okay, all right, I'm going to log in with my identity. You should log in with your identity. Create an identity, give respect to Microchip. Okay, all right. Okay, so it's loaded my device information. Not quite sure where it's getting that from. Oh, it's my old project from about a year ago. Look. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that project. Okay, all right. New project. New project. Loading. Gosh, that's slow, isn't it? And select microchip to embedded standalone project. Next. Select the chip family. Now, for those who didn't remember, it's an 18 PIC 18F. What was it? I can't remember. K40. There it is. Next. Give it a name. Creates the project. Now, I've done it this way to show you, right, something that you must change. Okay, so down here, you just need to come into here and see this tool chain. That tool chain isn't the one that you need. Okay, all right. If you try to run with that, we don't need that tool chain. We need a different tool chain. Okay, so I've just selected the chip and then changed the parameters. Okay, look, then you've got all these different configurations, but we need the MPAB. Apply that, and then you'll see that the down here it's changed to MPAB. Okay, source files. Create a new file. We can import a file. We could just drag that across, I guess, or let's just take that from here. Full path. I'll just I think I put the file name in. Tells me to choose a file, which is fantastic. I guess it's not local, of course. There we go. Finish. So it's now pulled in. Now this is now all in uppercase, or it should be. And I can already see that I failed to get it all into uppercase because I didn't do a control. Okay, so let me just replace the whole lot. There you go. I've now ensured it's in uppercase by doing the Control A, Control C, Control V. Okay, let's just have a look. So down here, look, I've got my little do loop down in here. Look. So if I put a little red line by double clicking it, and then I go debug project, it will make my project. And it builds successful, and now it's sitting on that particular line. And that says the first thing it's going to do, it's going to clear a variable, then it's going to set the access on port C, it's going to do some other mathematics for us, a simple code, but this is just going to toggle that particular port. So how do I know it's going to do that? Because what I can do, I can add in a new watch lot. And if I put in port C in here, where is it? I should type it in, really be faster. Port C. Okay, I get this view down here, and here are all the bits in here as well. So if I now walk through the code by pressing F7, you will see that has just changed to 1 because it's gone red. That's the last view on it. It now comes back through again, and when it goes to red again, it's toggling it. So it's doing exactly what we would expect because it's toggling port C. We have two ways of using this tool. So we can do, this is a really simple way of understanding what the code is doing. If you want to see it, run through the registers and all the config, etc. You can use this. This works quite well. Okay, you've got you've got all your SFRs sitting there. Yeah, you're not going to see the config necessarily, but trust us on that. But it's quite a good way to see what's going on, learn what's happening with the code. You've got access to the data sheets here. You can see what we're doing. Okay, it really does work well. And why have we done this 302? Let's recap. If I do a run, if I stop the project and I run the project from here, it will build me it will build the code, and then it will download the hex to my local computer. It's the same as what Great Cow BASIC does. It generates a hex file. But we'll just do a build, clean the project. I like to do that. And look down here, look, we've got a build successful. It's told me that there's a successful build of a hex file. It hasn't downloaded it locally, because if I do a run the project, it will then bring it down and download that hex locally. It's now on my hard drive. Now, what's important here is that notice the output screen here is quite it's quite nice. It's not got a lot of stuff in there. So if I build the project, it says make. Oh, it's okay. Now let me just see if I take that out for us. What happens? This may not be a good example, of course. That was okay because we didn't have a lot of warnings. Let me just bring up a program that has a lot of warnings and you'll see the difference. This is a very large test program. I'm going to change it to this chip that we're using so that I can just reuse the code. Okay, all right, there's no other reason than that. Okay, and generate some hex. So I'm just generating some ASM. That's all I'm doing. So I just need the ASM off this file. Okay, so in here, look at the assembler. Here it is. I'm just going to change that case. Remember, change the case to uppercase. Control A, Control C. I'm just going to update and replace all this here, and the code is massive compared to what we were doing before. If I now build that project, you'll see that I do get a couple of errors, and that's because there's an error actually in the source code. I just opened up a piece of bug file for you just to do this. Is a stupid mistake. Let me just pull it up. Yeah, so the piece of code I happened to open up is a piece of code that has a bug in it, and I obviously have quite a lot of code. Okay, let me just check that hex compiles on a local version of a Great Cow BASIC, which it does. I'm just going to change the case on this, get it into uppercase, Control A, Control C, back into here, and then I'm just going to paste that back into there. So here goes. We're going to debug the project. We're not. We're going to build it. That's what we're doing. So building it, and it makes it successfully, and that's great because all we're getting here is 0 errors. So let's just look at where we're going. I'm just going to comment out that error -302. I'm just going to build the project again, and you see nothing because I need to clean it, I guess. Yes, I think we're looking at the bug inside of MPLAB X Xpress. So let me just test that. I'll create a new project. We're going to do a new project, standalone project. You can have a hunt through here for other things. Pick my chip. I've got my different choices in here, but I'm going to check PIC 18 27K40 is what I'm using. Next, PIC. Oh, it's going to try and overwrite it, is it or not? I'll put 2 in it just because I need to. Okay, so that got loaded. I'm just going to add that source file. Now, of course, what I have failed to do in here is change my my tool set. So I just need to change my properties. Just change the tool chain to MPAB. Do it the second time. There we go. Add in that source file. Import that file. I need the file name. It's here. Just save that away. Full path into here. Choose that file. There we go. Great job. Loaded it. Okay, just want to take that error 302 out and build the project. It builds it successfully. So for some reason earlier on today I was getting lots of page errors, warnings, and the 302 seems to have changed the characteristics. So don't worry about that. If the 302 is needed, put it in. If it's not needed. But the purpose here is to show you that you can now walk this program. Okay, so if I just double click there like we did before, I can debug that project inside of an online editor. I don't need to install MPLAB X to get the basics running. I can now say, well, so what's happening in here? So the first thing this is doing, it's setting up MVRAM as a static pointer. That's needed in 2 places. It selects the internal oscillator. It then sets the oscillon to oscillon 3 to low power, and starts to set things up correctly. And it then sets up the tuner for you. And then it's starting to set up the type of oscillator that's required. Remember, we support a lot of different oscillators, and now it's going to set the frequency on the OS on the this register frequency to 8, and that will give you 64 megahertz. And you can walk through the code yourself to see what's happening in the assembly. So it's not a mystery to you. It's now the main program. Somewhere in the main program it's got this command that's been then converted into the assembler for you. And if you change program microcontroller, it will do that for you. So you can see we'll walk in the code, and you can as I said before, you can then see the registers changing. Now let's just see what's happening here in this code. I don't know this, it's not my code. Okay, all right. New watch on port B. Forgot that. I don't think I selected that correctly, by the way. Add a watch. PORT B. Isn't that great the way it does it? No, it's not. Port B. Okay, add that in. Remove, delete that watch there, look. And now we can see what this particular piece of code is doing to port B. I have absolutely no idea what it's doing. And that didn't change anything, so that's quite good. Good demonstration of port B changing there, or not as the case may be. I don't know what this piece of code is doing, I'll be quite frank. Okay, alright. It's doing things. Port B is not getting updated. But the purpose of this is to show you that you can use IDE MPLAB Xpress out on the web. So we'll call that a wrap.